Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
As always, the Ramble is sponsored by COACH Sheffield. If you're a growing business and you want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. Thank you for joining the team for their continued support for the Ramble. Today's Ramble is sponsored by Wellstoned Landscapes. From lawn to luxury, creating outdoor elegance. Wellstoned Landscapes covers most areas of Yorkshire. If you mention the Ramble when asking for a quote, you'll receive 10% off any work. Call Paul or find him on Facebook in the details below. What is happening, Blades? Long time no see. Welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is the day after Tuesday, that day of the week that nobody likes to mention, Hump Day. Yeah, we're here today, and we're going to do these only when it's called for, really. The last thing I ever want to do is just put out content for the sake of it, but people have been asking this for this for a little while. In terms of squad rebuilds, I do really enjoy doing them, if I'm honest. We've done our squad assessment in January of where we thought we were and where the strengths were and things like that. This is going to be a little bit different this time. The main point to this video today, it's not going to be a real in-depth look at the squad and a real tactical analysis of where we can improve and things like that. It's more a bit of reassurance, really, because I know that a lot of Blades are on the floor at the minute. I know I joke a lot with my mate Mark Hill, who's a Platinum Rambler. He's just one of many Blades that will be really down at the moment in terms of, we're all down, obviously. We all hate the fact that we've lost 3 in a row. But some Blades are thinking it's season done. So what I'm proposing is this video that we look at the worst case scenario for Sheffield United. And not only is that we stay down in the Championship, but that we lose our star players and that we've got no money to spend. But I'm here to show you, hopefully, that even if that's the case, we have got a strong foundation to build from and we can still have a really good go next season, even in the absolute worst case scenario. So in this video, we will do a more in-depth one towards the end of the season. We can go a little bit more in-depth on these weekly shows if that's what you want to do going forward. But when we know where we are at the end of the season, we'll know what division we're in, so we can do a bit more of an in-depth squad look. But this is more just for a little bit of a pick-me-up for those Blades that think it's all doom and gloom at the minute. And even if you are already focusing on next season, which I think is crazy, but some people are there, then this is hopefully going to put your mind at rest a little bit. So I'm going to start off by talking to you about the players that we're going to release. These are all my calls. It's my opinion. That's it. It's not set in stone or anything like that. This is not definitely happening. I'm releasing 2 players this season. They're both out of contract. I know there's murmurings that Robinson has a trigger clause in his contract based on appearances. Let's hope he hasn't triggered that and Holding's in for the weekend. Just because my opinion, we're releasing Ryan Brewster and Jack Robinson from their contracts, because I don't think they're good enough to be top-end Championship players at the moment. And that's just me being honest with my reflections. You could make an argument for Brewster in recent games, but I don't think he's going to challenge the first team. And if he were to stay on, I think he's the 4th best striker at the club. And surely if you're strengthening or you're going again, you want to be bringing in strikers that can challenge for at least a starting berth that you're going to be confident on. The big one really is who is going to be sold. And I think we're going to lose our big hitters. I've spoken about it before in terms of, I think Gus Hamer leaves. I think Vinny Souza leaves. And I think Anel Ahmedhodzic leaves. So that is, again, we're talking worst case scenario. We'll bring in an awful lot of money for them. As I say, it's not going to be a super detailed breakdown. So I'm not going to say we get 25 million for Vinny, we get 20 million for Gus, all this sort of thing. Because Anel's in last year of his contract. We might end up with around 60 million quid for those 3. I'm also suggesting that we sell 2 further players. I'm selling Reece Norrington-Davis and Jamie Shackleton. So this is just preparing you for what sort of squad we're going to be left with before we rebuild it again, if you like. So Anel, Vinny, Gus, Jamie Shackleton, Reece Norrington-Davies, unfortunately, as much as it pains me, join Ryan Brewster and Jack Robinson in leaving the club. I'm also going to send some really high potential youth prospects out on loan. I'm not sending everybody out, and we can discuss this again if we go a little bit deeper into it in rambles to come. Certainly once we know what league we're in. But I'm suggesting Luke Faxon goes out on loan, a really highly rated young goalkeeper. He's made several appearances on the bench this season, but at best he's third choice at the moment. At best he's second choice, but he's not getting a sniff in the first team. And I think he needs to go out and get some, hopefully like League One minutes under his belt at a decent club in League One. Luke Faxon, the goalkeeper, who was linked with Man United before he signed a new contract, I think he needs to go out. I think Louis Marsh needs another season out on loan, doing really well at Fleetwood. Get him into League One. Get him at that level where he's really tested himself. Ryan Oney is a huge name, a huge boy, and a huge name that I'm sending out on loan. I want him out for 6 months to see how he gets on in League One. Maybe he then proves to us that he can offer something to the first team and we bring him back. Maybe he does well in League One, but we haven't got a place for him in our team, so he goes and spends the second half of the season in the Championship, maybe, depending on his development. I'm also sending, the big call is sending Andre Brooks out on loan in the Championship. I think a bottom-end Championship club where he's playing 40 games a season, he's not consistently proven himself in our team, although we all acknowledge that there's a real player in there. Those are the 4 key players that I think need loan deals next season. That's who I'm sending out on loan, and I'm hoping that it improves them as individual players and assets to United in the future. So what does that leave us with a squad? It's threadbare is a really strong word, but I still think we have a bit of a foundation to work with here. Before I show you the team that it's left with, I'm also changing formation. I'm looking at the players we've got left in the nucleus of our squad, and I'm going with the positions, a formation for the positions and the players that we've got remaining that we can get the best out of them. I think Callum O'Hare is an attacking midfielder, so we need a 10. I think Harrison Burrows can be utilised as a left wing back. I think Femi Siriki is a right wing back. So with that in mind, I think we've not been potent enough at the top of the pitch. So maybe having 2 strikers as opposed to 1 would be a preferable change for United. So this is what we're left with at the moment. And it is threadbare. We'd obviously be compensating that with youth. But we've let a lot of players go. And we've still got, look at these players that we've still got here. Michael Cooper, Harrison Burrows, Ollie Arblaster, Siddy Peck, Femi Siriki, Callum O'Hare, Tyrese Campbell, Tom Cannon, Kiefer Moore, Tom Davis, Adam Davis. There is a core there of good Championship footballers. And good to great. Ollie Arblaster, Siddy Peck, Michael Cooper, Tyrese Campbell, Callum O'Hare, Harrison Burrows, even really good players at this level. So we've stripped our squad bare. We've brought it back to brick, if you like, if you're doing a property redevelopment. We've not completely knocked the house down, but it's certainly back to brick. So we need more players. And we're losing Luke Faxon on loan. He's one of the players that's going out on loan. So we need a 3rd goalkeeper. In my eyes, that's the reason I've sent Luke out is because we're getting a goalkeeper in. And what I'd like is somebody who can push to be not only 2nd goalkeeper, but can also be a very capable understudy to number 1. I've plumped for out of contract Daniel Everson at Leicester. He's 27 years old. He had his best spell on loan at Preston in the Championship, where he spent half a season on loan with them in the 20-21 season. He then had a full season with them in 21-22, where he played every game. He's playing backup at Leicester City at the moment. And I think he'd be a really strong deputy to Michael Cooper. He's not in the same league as Cooper, in my opinion, but he's been on the bench at Leicester, who are also coming down. He's out of contract in the summer. All of these players that I'm suggesting we bring in, by the way, are either on loan or out of contract. So we're not spending any money on transfer fees at the moment. And this is what I'm saying. It's worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario, that the owners haven't got any money to spend, which isn't the case. We know that, but I'm trying to show you that we can do this even with nothing to spend. So Daniel Everson comes in as our goalkeeper backup that's going to push Michael Cooper closer than Adam Davis does. And that bumps Adam Davis down to number 3. And that's nothing against Adam Davis, but I think we all would acknowledge that if Michael Cooper gets injured at the moment, and at any time during the season, whether you've got Everson or not, it's a huge drop-off to Adam Davis. And I just don't like the gap of drop-off there. So Everson comes in. I'm going for a popular call that was made on the Ramble by Lee Edridge and myself early doors, and then it's since gathered a little bit of momentum. Jimmy Dunn. Jimmy Dunn at Cardiff, at QPR, sorry. Jimmy Dunn's out of contract at the end of the season. He's been playing right back for QPR. I thought he were a little bit bigger than it says on Wikipedia, which I can't always trust, but they're saying he's 6 foot tall. He's obviously a centre-back by trade for a long time. 27 years old. He's an Irish defender. Currently at QPR, but came through the Man United youth team. He's also had a spell at Burnley before he joined QPR. 148 appearances for QPR and 11 goals from the centre-back position. A really good addition, I think, would Jimmy Dunn be to our back line. Another one that we've been linked with that I think will be a really strong signing, Harry Darling. Harry Darling, 6'2", right-footed centre-half, 25-year-old, playing for Swansea. Made 105 appearances, and he's also got 11 goals, which has gone under the radar a little bit. So Jimmy Dunn, known to be a centre-half / right-back that gets forward and is an attacking threat from set pieces. Harry Darling's got a goal every 10 games nearly for Swansea, which is unbelievable. 25-year-old as well, 6'2". Bear in mind some of these centre-halves' heights, because we've struggled from set pieces before. Jimmy Dunn's a little bit shorter than I thought he was at 6 foot, if that's right. I'm not convinced it is. But Harry Darling, 6'2". The next one I'm going on to is a Man Mountain favourite, Michael Keane. Michael Keane, 6'3", bags of experience, 32 years old. He's played 192 times in 8 years for Everton. They signed him in 2017 for 25 million, rising to 30 million quid. I just think he would be a leader that we're missing. We've not quite got that at the moment. We've lost John Egan, obviously. We've never really replaced that. Billy Sharp was obviously the talisman that we've got nowhere near to replacing. I know we've all spoken about Jack Robinson. We've all got our own opinions on him. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. So Michael Keane will be a real handy addition. I'm not sure of his level currently. He's not playing an awful lot for Everton. I think he's more protected in a back 3, which is what we'd be going with. So let me know your thoughts on Michael Keane. I know that might split some opinions. I'm also going for Courtney Hawes. So he is another 6'3" centre-half, 29 years old. He's a left-footed centre-back, which I think is really interesting. And it's key in terms of particularly Chris Wilder, who likes to have that balance in defence. Another free transfer, out of contract at Aston Villa in the summer, made 150 appearances throughout his career, has struggled with injury, but half of those appearances have been in the Premier League. Courtney Hawes, I think, is a real player that we can be looking at. That's a complete rebuild of the defence. There's no two ways about it. We lose a Nell. We decide to release Jack Robinson. Rob Holding goes back. Alfie Gilchrist goes back. Harry Clark goes back. You know, they're all leaving, aren't they? So it's one of them, really. Are you joking? Oh, dearie me. Right. And then what we're going to do is we are going into midfield. Tyrese Dolan. He's Blackburn, young kid, come through the academy, 23-year-old now, but played a load of games. Loads of games. for Blackburn. 173 appearances. He scored 20 goals. Plays in that Callum O'Hare 10 role, and I'm looking at him as a bit of a backup to Cal. So he's scored 2 goals this season. I think he's played 21 games this season. So maybe he would be happy playing a similar role at Sheffield United. These are my free transfers in. Let me know what you think. I know they're not necessarily showstoppers, but I think that improves us. And that leaves us with this. Michael Cooper in goal, Daniel Everson as a second choice goalkeeper, Adam Davis as a third choice, Jimmy Dunn as a right centre-back with Harry Darling, a deputy, Michael Keane in the middle of the three with Courtney Hawes at left centre-back. We've still got Femi Siriki at right wing-back, Harrison Burrows at left wing-back, bolstered by Sam McCallum pushing him as well. Ollie Arblaster and Sidney Peck in the middle with Tom Davies pushing them. Callum O'Hare now up front with Tyrese Dolan pushing behind him. And Tyrese Campbell, he threw me off then with Tyrese Dolan, but Tyrese Campbell up top and Tom Cannon paired together as a strike partnership with Kiefer Moore pushing to try and get in as well. So now we're looking at the loans that we could potentially bring in. And look, there's different options. So we shall see whether they won't all come in together, these, and you'll see why. But the first loan option that I've got to go for is big Harry Souttar. It doesn't look like he's fancied at Leicester. And if he's not, we should be all over this. I know there's a chance, depending on the ambitions of the owners, that we might even sign him permanently. But as I've said, with this rebuild, we are doing it as if there's no money in the transfer pot. There's only wages that we can afford and things of that nature. So Harry Souttar, 6'7", he is the real man mountain. 156 appearances over his career. Australian/Scottish centre half. Let's be right. 26 years old. Yeah, absolute legend and absolutely showed up our defence this season before he unfortunately got injured. He's going to be complemented by a right wing back, Kane Kessler-Hayden. Came to Bramall Lane as part of Preston's team this year. Played really well, I thought. 22 years old. Played 114 games at 22. He's, as I say, he's been on loan at Preston, but before that, he was on loan at Plymouth. He's played 40 games for Preston this year, and he's also played 3 times for his parent club, Aston Villa. An attacking right wing back. I think he'd be a really strong addition to give Femi competition in that right wing back area. I'm also going to compliment him by bringing in Callum Doyle. Callum Doyle, who is currently at Norwich, can play left back or left centre back. He's on loan from Manchester City, 21 years old, 6'1", made 154 appearances in his career. Only scoring 2 goals, but 151 appearances for a 21-year-old is really strong. And then I've had to have a last-minute change to this because I think we need a little bit of support in centre midfield. And I've had like a short list of players that I'm going to include. I've done my research and I wanted Tommy Doyle back, which a lot of us did. But he's played a lot of games for Wolves this year, and the new manager seems to really like him. So I think, unfortunately, that ship may have sailed. I think Tommy Doyle has established himself in and around the Wolves team. So I've had to switch it up a little bit, and I've gone for a player that I saw years ago when I was scouting, years and years ago, when he was a young kid coming through at Chelsea. And I've gone for Lewis Baker. 29 years old, centre midfielder. A bit of experience in the middle. We've got Siddy and Arblaster in there at the minute. Obviously, Tom Davies pushing him as well, but a little bit of experience in there. 308 appearances, 56 goals. He's a bit of a set-piece specialist as well. I remember when I was watching him, he can use either foot really strongly. So he can go either side. I think with good players around him, Lewis Baker's a really good player. So these are the loan players I'm suggesting that we consider as well. Callum Doyle, Harry Souttar, big Harry Souttar, Kane Kessler-Hayden, and Lewis Baker. And that leaves us maybe needing a striker. But look at this for a squad going into next season, having spent 0 on transfer fees. We've got Michael Cooper in goal, Daniel Everson as backup, Adam Davis as the third choice goalkeeper. And then we've covered everywhere apart from a second or a fourth striker, if you like. Harry Darling behind Jimmy Dunn at right centre-back. Harry Souttar keeping out Michael Keane in the middle of the three. Courtney Hawes is backed up by Callum Doyle at left centre-back. Burrows is chased down by Sam McCallum, as we know. Kane Kessler-Hayden and or Femi Siriki, whichever one you prefer on the day. Captain Ollie Arblaster, backed up by Lewis Baker, who can give that sort of attacking threat should we need it later on in games. Sidney Peck is keeping out Tom Davis at the moment. Callum O'Hare backed up by Tyrese Dolan. Ty Campbell up top, alongside Tom Cannon and Kiefer Moore supporting. And that is my worst case scenario, what you can do with no transfer spend. So I don't think things are the general message behind this ramble today. And I know we haven't been going that long, and I appreciate everybody that's here because there's over 200 people here. But I'm going to get into your comments in a minute. But this is more to reassure you that if it goes wrong, and we don't want it to, we want promotion. This is more for those that have already written the season off. And if they're beyond saving in terms of, nope, you can't convince me, we're not going to do it this season. I'm so peeved. I'm so upset. Well, this is a team that we can very feasibly put together for next season. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'm going to get into your comments now. Neil says, Jimmy, the only preparation we need is for being in the champ as a team is a million miles away off the Prem quality and a country mile behind Leeds. We're massively unfit compared to Leeds who don't rotate. Scottish Blade says, but he's not Harry Souttar, who also made Nell better. Oh, hang on. Have you mixed up your comments here, pal? He's not Harry. I can't see a previous comment. How on earth can we not play Holding? Ex-Prem, ex-captain, ex-Arsenal under Wenger, ex-Champions League. I've always been a Wilder fan, and he's got us back on track. But, big call here, it's time for him to move on. If the club really wants the Prem, then a top-quality manager is required, not Chris. I said at the time when we lost Harry Souttar, it would cost us promotion. Look at the goals conceded after. Jackie Longthroat is not up to it, and we leave an ex-Prem captain, Champions League Holding on the bench. Ricky says, if we stay down, Dunn, Darling, Suits, Dolan and Sheaf, we're not far away there, are we, pal? I'm only not bringing Sheaf in, not because I don't rate him, because I clearly do, but it's a big outlay, and this one is a budget rebuild, if you like. Michael says, hi, Jimmy, what do you think about Siriki in front of Clark or Gilchrist? I think it depends on your opposition in front of you. I think Gilchrist is the best defender of the three. I think Siriki is the better attacker of the three. I think Clark is probably a better all-rounder than both, but it depends what you're going for. I prefer Alfie Gilchrist there personally, just as a bit of solidity to say our defence has been so poor. Some Blades think it's game on. That's Ricky responding to me saying some Blades think it's all doom and gloom. You're right, Rick. Some do think it's game on. Andrew says, if we don't go up, Josh Brownhill must be the first signing along with Dunn. Josh Brownhill will sign a new deal, pal, with Burnley if they go up. No doubt about it. He'll get a Premier League. He'll be playing in the Premier League next season. Get Dunn and Darling and go 5-2-1-2. I think that's pretty much what I've gone. I'd class it more as a 3-4-1-2. But yeah, same sort of thing. I'm not so sure Hamer would go, says Bry. I am pretty sure he would go, to be honest. Wayne says, I'd love us to go up, but I'm of the impression that the worst case scenario is we get to the Prem. This squad is no way ready. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, says Wayne. Staying positive, win at Wembley, up the Blades, says John. Love that, mate. Worst case scenario, no way would you let Chris Wilder go. That's what he's good at on a tight budget. The loans would go back. Jack Robbo, Vinny, and L, Shackleton, R&D all go, getting done and holding. Dino, we're very close there, aren't we, already? Right now, we're not Premiership level, says Scottish Blade. We will be better in the Championship for at least 1 to 2 years. You can't... Oh, my word. Oh, my word. You can have Melier for free, Jim Bob. No, thank you, mate. Squirtles says, I see Gus all the time when I walk my dog, and I have spoken to him about 10 times now. I don't believe he will leave because his son has made friends in Sheffield and he's very happy here. Could move to Leeds, though, couldn't he? And it's not very far. He can still live in Sheffield if he wanted to. Kelv says, afternoon, Jimbo. Glad to see you smile back. Friday is your biggest day rather than the Monday. Watford beat Burnley and you can beat Cardiff, then it's all to play for. Stranger things have happened. Any chance we're going for Suter regardless of division, says Danny? Yeah, I think there is. How much would they want? Also need to change formation or get some wingers in and then play them on the correct side. Fed up of them cutting in. Oh, and a set piece coach. Like and subscribe. Up the Ramble. Tom says, take Melee offers, please, mate. No, thank you. I'll pay Melee a taxi as well, Jim Bob. Please take him. No, not a chance. Would sooner spoon my eyes out, says Bry. Scott says, Murphy at Portsmouth, a winger is a must. That's if you're sticking with wingers, Scott. Yeah, I think he'd be in the conversation. His consistency is a concern for me, if I'm honest. But I'm dropping the wingers. I'm not playing with wingers. Don't be so sure it's done. I still don't trust us not leads this up. Tom, do you think you'll go in for Ramsdale? Luke's asking. I think Sheffield United could win the next 2, says Cool and Luke, as long as you score first at Turf Moor. It's certainly possible. Where's Chris Morgan when we need him? In fact, where is he these days? Hope he's doing well. He's an agent now, pal. He's an agent. And yeah, he is doing very well, from what I understand. Baker would be a very good signing, says Ricky. Yeah, I agree. I like Ben Cabango as well. Is he out of contract, though? I like Ben Cabango. But I'm not sure. I think he's still got a bit of time left on his deal. And as I say, this were a freeze and loans one, really. I will keep Jackie Longthrow as cover if we can't replace. And Brewster, the sick note, thumbs down. And Sousa, the midfield bottler, who must be made of glass as he gets too many injuries. Reece Norrington-Davis, Anel and Gus try to keep. Okay, interesting. Cooler King says, Courtney Hawes is a great shout if you keep him fit. He never really did anything wrong at the Villa except get overtaken in time by better players. We'll have him then, pal. We will have him. Thank you very much. That'd be great. Kessler Hayden is liked at Villa, but despite our fullback problems, he's never had a look in, so I'm not sure he has as much of a future at the club. Would be an excellent signing for you. Yeah, I'm thinking more on loan because you struggle to get young prospects out of Premier League clubs for cheap, don't you? But if you've decided that he's not for you, then maybe that's something we can take advantage of. Anne says, it sounds like a plan, Jimmy, up the blades. Thank you very much. Cool. And Luke says, smash a like, people. Thank you. That'd be very much appreciated. Jay says, I wish you was our manager, Jimmy. I am nowhere near qualified. Chris Wilder is the man. He is the man to do it. And he'll know all this. He'll know about all of this. But it's not as easy as I'm making it sound. Howard says, Leeds fan here, if you stay down, Cooper and Hamer will be coming to us. No, they won't. Hope you win the playoffs, though. We won't sell Cooper. I'll be amazed if we sell Cooper in the summer. You'd have to pay upwards of 25, 30 million quid for him for us even to think about it. Why would we sell a prized asset that we've got on a good wage, on a long contract, when we'll sell other players around him to offset any losses that we'll make? Neil says, Jimmy looks quite good, but I think we're short in the middle of the park. Speaking of short, have you seen those centre halves, by the way? 6'3", 6'3", 6'2", 6'7", 6 foot Jimmy Dunn, but still unbelievable. I love it. I love it. I don't know if we're short in the middle if we go Blaster and Peck. Blaster and Peck, I know they're young. They are great players at this level now. Particularly, well, I think so. I think they've certainly got the potential to be great players at the level. Tom Davis backing him up, and Lewis Baker, I don't think he's a bad shout, to be honest. Maybe one more, Neil. Lewis says, I don't think we'll go in for him, and no point risking him for the Prem. Benjamin Baboon says, would not mind Ollie McBurney over Tom Cannon since he knows the club. Don't speak to my dad about that. Danny says, I'd honestly think Holding and Suter would be a good centre-back partnership. Bring in Holding for a nominal fee because he won't play at Palace and Suter on loan. Why would Holding come here if Wilder's still in charge? Why would Holding come? And I'm not saying there's a rift or anything like that because I do not know, but he's come in and he's not played. And he'll be disappointed with that. Whatever spin we can put on it as a club, he'll be really disappointed. And if I'm Holding, I'm looking at Jack Robinson and thinking, why have I bothered? Bean says, might be unpopular, but I wouldn't sign Suter back. He was great for us, but I don't like the thought of signing players off the back of a serious injury. A really good point, Bean, and more than fair. Sorry, Jimmy, I meant Sariki playing right midfield in front of Clark or Gilchrist. All right, okay. In this current system, yeah, I think Sariki could be tried. Could be tried further forward. Thank you to Lee, who's just updating me. So Wikipedia might not be right. Jimmy Dunn is 6'2.5" according to Transfer Market. So that's, if that's right, which I would probably lean towards, we've not got anybody under 6'2" in back line, which is what we've missed into it, I think, personally. And they're still quite mobile, a lot of them, other than Harry Souttar, potentially. Yeah, I think Sariki can play further forward. I think he'd be very good at this level. Hi, Jimmy. Would you give Robbo a new contract? Cody, come on. Any chance we keep Hamza as there's an option? And I believe the deal is relatively cheap. He's £5 million, mate. So do you think he's worth 5 million is the question, really? And if he's not going to be guaranteed to start, I wouldn't be spending £5 million on a player. And you can throw the Tom Cannon back at us all you like, because that's fair. I'm not saying I would have done that, by the way, but it's a lot of money to spend when you know we spent the 10 million with a strong belief that it would push us towards the Premier League, so we will get that money recouped. And the Hamza for 5 million is still a big outlay for us. Jack says, hi, mate. I can be very negative, but I'm going to give Wilder some props. I believe this is a new system to him, and it's hard to leave a favoured system, and the system doesn't suit the players. Danny says, Sousa will stay for another year, I reckon, and Anel and Hamer will go. Need to get some creativity in midfield because that's what we have lacked. Peck and Arblaster will be up to speed next season, experienced. Bradley says, if we do go up, does Wilder go? Love him, just his style of play would not keep us up. Lee says, what? No, Gerbich. Like the additions, Jim. Only player I'd also look to unload would be Tom Davis. If we can consider somehow get his large wages out, would free up room for maybe a couple more frees. Well said, Lee. Leo's already put forward some suggestions to me for this video itself. Lee will be a big part of us putting together videos in terms of not just Ramble on the Road, which he's brilliant at, but in terms of planning for rebuild videos, because I know it's something he's interested in as well. So no Gerbich for me, pal. And yeah, Tom Davis, he will be on big money, and that might be a consideration in terms of being a bit part player on a big wage. Might be something we have to look at. As much as our recruitment was amazing, says Jack, I don't think they realised how important wingers are. Scott says, I think if we do stay down, then the new owners will think we'll go all out to go again. Wilder or whoever's in charge gets a war chest, including sales. Makes me nervous if Wilder's the one to spend it. Interesting. Jack says, I've got a feeling the new owners will try and keep everyone. If not, they'll want a pretty penny. I think so too. I think you can't keep players against their will, but I don't think we'll sell anybody on the cheap. As a Leeds fan, I love Cooper, but he definitely won't come to us, says Curtis. Hamer could come, but it would cost a lot to get him. I agree with everything you've said there. I think Hamer would cost a lot to get out of Sheffield United, but you might pay it. We can effort to keep players now, mate. We can afford to keep players now, mate. We've got owners with money, says Brad. It's not about whether you can or not, always, is it? It's whether they want to be here. And if Anel's saying, I want to go, I'm not saying he is, by the way, but this is just, Vinny Sousa's saying, I want to go. Can you hold on to him when they don't want to be here? I'm not sure you can. Danny says, I think Sariki should be first choice next season at right back. As a long run in the team will be great for us. There'll be a lot of out-of-contract players of serious quality at the end of the season, which we can pick up. Hopefully, I've shown you a few of them there, pal. Scott says if Hamer goes to Leeds, then they're dropping Aronson, Nonto, etc. It's a lot of money unless they move players on, which I can't see if promoted. They would need to add, not sell. Interesting. Jazz says, hey up, Jim Bob, afternoon, bud. Still want yous lot to go up. Thank you, pal. Spartan Hippie says, hi, Jimbo, Leeds fan here. Question, do you think that team beats the competition dropping from the Prem? Honestly think that will be a challenge to get autos next year with those three. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a really tough ask. And this, as I say, is absolute worst case scenario. So that, for me, that team, if we can just get it up again, let me knock your comment off and get the final team that we put up there. That, for me, is a playoff team. I think that's a playoffs team next season. And you could argue that we can maybe challenge for autos, but there's no guarantee of it, obviously. So I do think that it's going to be a tough ask, but we'll see. We'll see where it takes us. Again, worst case scenario, that's without spending any money. Ricky's talked about players like Ben Sheaf. People have talked about buying Harry Souttar, which would allow you more loans. I understand that. Did you ever apply for the scout job at the Lane? No, mate, I didn't. Every job I had as a scout was offered by people I'd worked for before. Danny says, I would love to see Peck and Blaster playing together with O'Hare's movement, making them spaces to run into. Looking forward to our pre-season friendlies already. There you go, Danny. That's what we're doing it for, isn't it? How much Anel, Souza, etc. worth? Anel's in his last year. We were talking about this with Dave and Man Mountain. I don't know whether it were on the air or not, but Dave thinks we'll struggle to get 10 million quid. I think we'll easily get 10 million for Anel, even though he's in last year of his contract. Vinny, I think Vinny and Hamer are the prize assets out there. They're the crown jewels, so they will cost a pretty penny to get out. 20, 25 maybe. Hamza not a prayer, not good enough, says Andrew. Jack says, we don't sign any loan players apart from Gilchrist, but no chance because we haven't played him. I agree. If we stay down, would we not be forced to keep Jackie Longthroat and Nell would go and we'd have 0 contracted senior centre-backs? Well, I'm trying to avoid that. I think that's absolutely worst case scenario for me because he's not good enough. He's not good enough. Tom Davis, is he still at the club, says Andrew. Would you take Matteo Joseph if we go up and you don't? No, not really. I don't think he troubles Ty Campbell. Certainly in a one up top, but Tom Cannon and Kiefer Moore as well in the mix. I don't think Matteo Joseph is good enough at the moment. Would you take Farker if we swapped out managers? No, I don't like Daniel Farker as a manager. Andrew says, the new owners not heard a peep out of them. Worcester owners with money, really? Who says? Yeah, true. I think their actions speak louder than words, don't they, really? Spending 10 million on Tom Cannon were a huge statement, if you like. But we'll see. West Ham are looking for a keeper next season. They're looking at Rambo at release clause of 18 mil. Wouldn't surprise me if they came in for Cooper 10 to 15 mil on a £2 million investment. Good return for a season. I don't think we sell for 10 to 15. It's what he's worth. It's not what we paid for him. It's what he's worth to us now. So we could build a team around Michael. And we've relied on him a lot this season. And he's leveled us up, to be honest. So, yeah, I don't think we sell Michael Cooper this summer, if I'm honest. When you're next doing a stream with Connor, Jim, it'll be Battle Lines next week. Oh, probably tomorrow. What day are we on? Yeah, probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I'll hear from him either today or tomorrow, I would have thought. Next season's another big rebuild, strengthening. I don't want to see signing support players or sign players who are going to sit on the bench, says Jack. No reason the squad should have holes. Brad says, Hamer and El Vinny, easy worth 60 to 70 million together. And El's out of contract though, pal, so that'll be tricky. I genuinely think Cannon's a very good player, says Rob, in the wrong team. Cannon makes brilliant runs in behind and across the 6-yard box. We just don't play the ball when we're in those positions. We break quickly and get into positions to play the ball, but cut back and allow the opposition to get back and load the box. I think that's fair. Scott says, really, we should be moving Robbo on going into next season. It'll be 32, 33, which is not old, but we moved on Egan. And for me, he starts for us over Robbo. I agree. And Lee, with our final comment, I think, for now, is going to be saying, we must keep Michael Cooper. 1 more games for us than the goals of Ty Campbell. He's my player of the season. We've just got a couple more. I think Sheffield United do have a good chance in the playoffs. A big gap in quality between third and below. Robinson, I hope he goes, says Andrew. If he stays, that will show we're lacking ambition. We made a serious mistake not replacing Suter. We did replace Suter. Rob Holding's here, pal. Money spent on Cannon was wasted. Don't make it. If you're not playing Rob Holding, it's crazy to me. Hope we have a short list of Hamer replacements. No one in this squad can score assists like he has. Who would be on that short list? I don't think you can directly replace him. One of them. Danny says, we've got too many loans sat on the bench or not in the squad. If they're not good enough for the first 11, then don't loan them. Well said, pal. Well said. Let me know what you think anyway. There's 300 people here. Thank you to everybody for joining us for this worst case scenario video. We are currently, as it stands, 71 subscribers away from 7,000 subs, which is ridiculous. Thank you to everyone that continues to support the channel. I hope that has put some of the more negative Blades minds at rest a little bit. Time will tell, won't it? That is the absolute worst case scenario. We can build a team that can go again in the Championship. We're hoping that this weekend things start to change for us a little bit. A Watford win changes everything going into the Cardiff game. So maybe we don't even have to consider this, and we can be looking at much more optimistic teams going into the summer. But for now, Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blade!